Lights out, green flag, here we go. You pay for the whole seat, but you're only gonna need the edge.
The Thunder Road Podcast, telling the stories of the South Texas racers from the past and present.
Hello, my name is James Parks, and welcome to the Thunder Road Podcast. We're filming here at the Petrini Posse Race Car Shop. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, 112 Bodies, Grace Recycling, Proline Fabrication, Top Hat Signs and Designs, and of course, S&S Monuments. On this heartfelt episode, we have James Starry. He tells us the tales and the trials and the tribulations of the Starry family in racing, but also in life. All right, we're here with the infamous James Starry out of the Robe out of Robstown, Texas. Tell us a little bit about yourself and the Starry family, maybe the Starry legacy.
Yes, sir. James Starry from Robstown, Texas, 49 years old.
Yo, 49 years young.
Just came out of retirement from basketball. That's still on the, just kind of still sitting there, but been married 21 years to the same woman. That's always good.
That's a good sign, especially out of Robstown.
Out of Robstown, yeah. And I have 4 kids, and Cameron, Zyler, Dalton, and Kinsey.
A good thing you didn't forget any of their names. It would be a bad scenario. It would be editing right now.
Yeah.
So 4 kids, a wife. I'm sure you got some pets out there, some animals.
Yeah, we have about 9 dogs, 2 goats.
And a partridge in a pear tree anywhere?
Yeah. About falling down, but yeah, the tree's still there.
We recently had a sale at the Starry Pawn Shop.
Yeah.
How did that deal go for you guys?
It went pretty good. It'd been sitting there for about 5 years, and since the passing of my grandfather, I took over and just wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I figured it was time. Everything, all the pieces were in place, and so we had a sale. Only had one heckler come in there and tell me how I should be ashamed of myself because I'm getting rich off of selling power tools. And
did she leave with a door prize?
I have one waiting for her. She's the next raffle winner. So,
well, let's touch base on some racing, and then we're going to come back to the family side. Let's touch some base on some of your racing, and then we're going to explore the Starry heritage and go that route.
So a lot of people don't know I'm the 2008 Pure Stock track champion here at South Texas Speedway, which is now the Race Ranch. You can log on to YouTube, and under James Starry, you can watch me flip down the back straightaway. I'm not going to sell myself short. I'm going to say it was 8 times. That was
it a solid 7 and an iffy 8 or what?
Well, I'm going to go a solid 8 because I landed on my wheels, and that was in a sport mod at the time. I was track champion in the Pure Stock. Flipped it 8 times. Car was totaled. Bought an Express from Whitaker Jr. Raced it about 2 times and realized that this wasn't fair. I think I just quit on top as champion. So just kind of hung it up from there.
Just like that part never happened. I'm the champion. This part, part never happened.
Yeah, I did the old typical go win the track championship in a Pure Stock and think I'm going to sell it and go limited modified racing, and I'm going to,
Hey, whatever works. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, and I stroked that thing right on down the back straightaway about 8 times, so figured it wasn't very good.
So after that, you got the car, decided, hey, this just isn't for me. I'm off to do bigger and better things.
Yeah, I sold it, sold the trailer, sold the car.
You sold out?
Sold out, complete sellout. And then I went on a journey of select baseball with Cameron when he was 5 years old at the time. But backing up to before we got into the Pure Stock deal, I'd went out to South Texas Speedway and watched an enduro and thought, man, that might be pretty cool. We're not from a racing family. If you want me working on your deal, I'll round off a bolt in a minute. I'll strip something out. But
I'll tell you, I'll watch this.
Yeah, I'll check this out, or tighten it too much. But I had JJ Jennings, Monty Nichols. They helped me build a car that we got from Felix Focek. So that was a jewel.
It was a prize.
Yeah, and got that. Went out there, signed up for an enduro. I was sitting there in line. I felt water spraying on me, and I looked over, and it was John Heineman spraying a water gun at me, and I had no idea who John Heineman was. I didn't know any of these guys.
Did you put a hit out on him?
No, didn't. No, I just kind of smiled because I was nervous as hell. Went out there, made a solid 10 laps before it overheated, and
You were looking for his water gun at that point, bro, to cool it off.
yeah, a solid 10 laps, overheated, pulled in, deathly afraid for all 10 laps. Like, what the hell am I doing out here? But I knew that I enjoyed it.
You still have the car? Is it out there?
No.
No?
That car's long gone. Actually, I think it's down the valley.
Oh, well.
So
it's
I
probably
don't know what it's doing down there.
probably a Hyundai now.
Yeah.
I got melted down.
So then we went into the pure stock realm. I used to shop with Brian and Chris Rye and Bobby Groby. They helped me out a whole lot on just kind of teaching me the things. And
Those are the right guys to teach you.
yeah, very good. And now it's funny that my son now races against Brian and stuff. So that's pretty cool. But once we flipped the car and just, it kind of just wasn't the same. I don't know if it was the nerves wasn't the same. I kind of pride myself that if you want to go do something, I'm not nervous about
Ice cold.
Yeah, but that and watching my own son race are two things.
It changes the dynamics of it a
changes
little
it.
bit.
Yeah.
I think when something like that happens, it opens your eyes. You survived it. I don't believe you were hurt other than maybe some pride and some bruises, but all the safety equipment in the car did its job, and you were able to walk away from it. So I remember that night. It was a pretty gnarly accident, and if you want to see it on YouTube, obviously
check it out. Light it up.
Give them a like and a share.
Yeah, there you go. Check it out.
Well, where do we go from here?
Man, it's after that we did select baseball. We traveled all over the country. And
Were you coaching with them? Or?
Yeah, I was coaching. I made up a team. Wasn't no daddy ball. I didn't make a team because my son was terrible. I made a team because the competitive spirit.
Yeah.
I like to be competitive in whatever we do. That's kind of our deal around the house.
Right. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go all in or don't do it at all. So, we did that. We traveled all over.
Are you running for mayor by chance?
No, I did get asked if I wanted to try for Justice of the Peace.
Oh, wow.
Of Robstown.
Oh, all right.
And I said at the time, when you live in a glass house, don't throw stones right now. So, let's get all this stuff cleaned up around the pawn shop and everything. And then afterwards, maybe about 10 years down the line, then I'll...
So right now you got your stones in your pockets. You're just not ready to throw them.
Yeah, I'm not ready yet. So everybody still half-ass kind of likes me. So I'm just kind of keep it that way for now.
Awesome.
So, but no, we did the whole baseball thing. That was cool. Kind of lost track of the racing world. Didn't really keep in touch with too many people,
Separated yourself?
Yeah, and not that I had any ill feelings towards anybody at all. It was just, man, when you're raising young kids at the time and stuff, that was just my main focus. Because you get to a point to where when the car's not at your house, it's real tough to the late nights and, the old famous, hey, I'll be right there. And then,
No.
4 hours later.
It happens in this shop every night.
Yeah.
I'm on my way home.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
We're only a mile down the road.
Yeah, and then your thing is, hey, man, I could be at the bar, but instead I'm over there working on the car, and then that just goes totally derails from there too. Yeah. So no winning.
Choose your battles.
Yeah.
I just had this discussion with a 9-year-old the other day. Choose your battles.
Right.
So it's part of it.
So we did all that, and that was a good experience. Cameron got to travel to Florida and Georgia and all these different places and play ball, and we did it as a family. My wife and Kenzie traveled along with us, so we got to see some places that we probably wouldn't have gone and done. So
good times though. Yeah, a lot of memories.
It was cool. It was one thing that I've done with them is I've always been straight up with them, and if he's out there pitching or Kenzie's out there playing or anything like that, I'm not a real big, hey, it's okay, we'll get it next time type person. It's Cam's gone out there and hot lapped and came in and I had a helmet on. And he asked how he did. And I said, like shit, you know what I mean? I got a helmet. You need me to get in there?
Put me in, coach.
And then I would never get in because he'd show me up. But still, it's still, you're the coach. So
you're just trying to get him fired up a little bit.
Yeah, get everybody fired up.
I got you.
So, But the good thing about, and we're jumping all around here, but when we were in the racing and then we left and obviously now we've made ourselves back, is whatever bad habits and whatever wars or whatever you want, it wasn't that I didn't wreck your dad and then now you're going to go wreck Cam. Like there's no, you know what I mean? We're fresh to the,
a new start.
A new start. So if you don't like us, it's because of us. Yeah. It's not because of my dad or my grandpa or anything like that. So, coming in with that, I've tried to preach to Cam is run them the right way. And there's been some things some tangles on the track and stuff,
Yeah, but that's going to happen. I mean, especially as competitive as a lot of folks are right now, that tight racing and things are going to happen. And unfortunately, it's always perceived that somebody did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes racing just happens.
Yeah, it does. And that's one thing that this last big show here in Corpus, I went to the very house, and I told him, him and Memphis and Cam had some run-ins and none of it's malicious, but it's like, hey man, we'll sell more shirts putting on a good battle than arguing and yelling at each other. And I didn't get invited to Christmas with them, but I mean, we had a good talk, me and the dad. I respect what they're doing on the asphalt and
in some instances, y'all are both kind of chasing the same deal.
Yeah.
He's on the asphalt side. He wants his boy to do well. And obviously your boy's on the dirt side and you want him to do well. So y'all are both chasing the same scenario.
Yeah. And once we talked and man, we were cheering each other on, when Cam went out to Arizona, they took notice. And whenever he goes out and races, I see that they are, and the town's big enough for some hot shoes. And that's the kind of the way that I laid it out there.
There's a few of them coming up and coming right now. There's lots of young ones up and coming too. It's a crazy world to think that 11-year-olds are running full blown sport mods.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think that Tripp is running a pure stock and being competitive.
Right.
He was just in a go-kart February.
Yeah,
and it starts.
And like I told Tanner the other day, Tanner's probably the bravest guy I've ever met in my life, sitting there in the passenger seat, because I rode passenger one time out at Lawrence's track with Cam. And the thing that you don't understand and you don't realize at the time is when the small kid is there, his seat is here, your seat is here. So I get all buckled in.
There's about a 3-foot difference.
Yeah, and I get all buckled in and I'm thinking, all right, man, I'm going to ride passenger. We're going to go for it. And he's getting faster and faster, and that wall's getting closer and closer, and I start thinking to myself, this ain't how I want to die. All right? Like, my vision of me when I'm no longer here is a whole lot better than, hey, did you hear what happened to Starry? Cam romped the wall at Lawrence's and knocked his ass out. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be better than that, So
you deserve better.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Like, hey, man, let my ending story be better than riding in some bomber around the track,
knocking your head against
the ground. I end up unbuckling and reaching up and tapping him, and he's looking at me, and he's probably death afraid that I even tapping on him. I say, hey man, pull over, you got a flat. But he didn't have no damn flat. I wanted my ass out. So once I got out, dude, my passenger days are over.
Man,
so
you've had a lot of Indians out at that racetrack.
Yeah, and
he just left it all there.
Yeah, just left it all there. I'm out. Done. I'm out, man. Love you. I'm out. Love you, and I'm out.
Good luck.
So, but yeah, that's just kind of what we're doing, and then once we, Cam started racing go-karts, and the way that we got into all that stuff, and one thing that people don't realize with us is there's two things that I feel like that I don't talk too much about. One is religion, and one is politics. Because if you can go off in a fist fight or argument, and the beliefs are different.
Right.
But I've always believed that there's somebody higher than us that watches out for us. And when we first started this racing deal, we did the whole baseball thing, and I know everybody's heard the story and stuff, and I like to tell the story myself here. And after today, we're going to change chapters and write a new story. And one of the things that 6 years ago, when we got the call that we had lost family members in a tragic shooting. Man, you don't know what you're going to do. Your mind goes all different ways. You try to process it all, and none of it makes sense.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. And also you got to understand, man, you still got family that's counting on you.
Yeah.
So my uncle, who I dearly love, and he one of my biggest heroes and was one of our biggest supporters, you know, he used to fund all our baseball stuff. He used to, you know, just really was involved in that side of it. Well, when you sit there and you look and you see that your 13-year-old son at the time, that was full of energy and everything, is now doesn't want to leave his room, doesn't want to do anything. Man, you got to find something. As a parent, you know, you have to find something.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, we had just talked about racing and go-karts and stuff like that, and everyone's heard the story and stuff, but we ended up at Lawrence's on a Friday night. We stood off in the dark. We didn't talk to nobody. Everything was less than a month old. And so I seen Tommy, I seen a few people, and like I said, it was real short. It was just, we just stood off on our own. Eddie Ross came along, he and Kevin Leonard at the time, and said, "Hey man, after the races, you throw Cam in a go-kart." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do that." You know, if he wrecks it, I ain't got the money to pay for it, but they're just like, "No, go for it." So Cam cut some laps out there at Lawrence's, and man, that was the biggest smile that I've seen on that dude's face in a long time. And I knew right then and there,
It was a turning point.
hey, bro, we're going racing.
Yeah.
One way or the other, we're going racing. I got on the phone that next week. I got a hold of Storm Services. I got a hold of Steven Stewart with Brass Trucking, man, and some baseball buddies of ours out of San Antonio. And lo and behold, a week later, we had a go-kart. And, you know, we don't know anything about go-karts. We didn't know. I mean, he's in the B class of go-karts, you know.
You're going to learn today.
We're going to learn today. And so we went out there, man, and man, it was just, the atmosphere was awesome, you know. And so we Lawrence and Whitaker Jr. and different ones, like, "Hey man, why don't you go get a bomber or a pier stop?" And so I went to CC Speedway, and they had one out in the brush and stuff, and I bought it. I took it out, surprised him for Christmas, and took it out there. And the more I looked at it, I thought, dude, this is a death trap. Like, this is terrible.
This is not what we need.
No, this is not what we need. Well, then Andy Van Barkom had a car for sale on the internet, so I called him. Andy and the Van Barkoms have been buddies of our friends, family. The Van Barkoms and Starrys have been friends forever.
Long time.
Long time. And so I went out there, and Cam gets in it, man, this thing's a cherry. You know, from what we had, man, this thing's a cherry.
Did Andy take a trade in?
No. Andy didn't take no money at all.
Really?
He said, "Your money's no good." And so we loaded it up. We went straight from Andy's. I called Lawrence, went out there. Cam drove it around, and off and running we went. You know, we got into the pier stocks here at Corpus. We raced against Dudley with his cheater motor. And
He turned all the RPMs.
yeah, I think he won like 100 features in that season. But
It was just 9.
one night he wasn't there. Lo and behold, we got us one. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm not gonna say it was legal because it was a Van Barkom car, so it wasn't as hopped up as a Dudley car.
You cleared the tech pad, right?
Yeah, I cleared.
You were good.
I was good.
You're good.
I was good. So we won, and if you go back and you look at some pictures, Cam gets up on the hood and like raises his arms up in the air, you know, and it's one of them things, man, where it's kind of like the turning point. Like, hey man, we're gonna be all right. So we finish off the season, and the factory stocks were a big deal. And so I ended up getting him a race-ready car from Tom Earl out of Fort Worth, as it was a destroyer. Man, we brought it home, and we thought, here we go. This is it. We got a destroyer. We're factory stock racing. Man, we knocked the clip off that thing.
Hard lesson learned.
A hard lesson learned. But we never gave up, you know. And so, and throughout that time, a few people Tommy's probably one of our biggest.
Tommy Temple.
Tommy Temple is probably one of our biggest supporters out there. Like the best hype man you could probably have, And so he was hyping it up, and so we get a phone call from Phil Wemple. Says, "Hey man, we've heard your story. We'd like to interview Cameron." Well, it kind of all comes back like, man, do you want to talk about it? Because you don't want to make it sound like feel sorry for me.
Yeah, you don't want the old poor me aspect.
No, you don't want that. That ain't us.
Right.
That's not us at all. If you read some of the hate messages Cam gets, like you spoiled ass kid or anything like that. If you knew behind the scenes, you probably wouldn't send that crap.
It's horrible to think that because Cameron is a young man, and when all this was going on, he was early mid-teen.
Yeah,
and I would assume that most of that hate email was from ignorant people, probably older ignorant people. But.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's sad to hear that, but I mean, I guess it like Stevie told me and told Cam one time is everybody loves you till you're fast, and at that point we weren't fast yet. It's just we were 14 years old doing things, kind of like Stevie the Third does now, and so we agreed to have Wemple do an interview, and man, it goes out there and got a lot of play, but we still we still really didn't know what we were chasing. We were out there racing. We go everywhere.
You're just doing a regular Saturday night racing, regular Saturday night show.
And then at that point, man, we started going to Texana, went to I-37, then we found ourselves at Waco, and then Kennedale, RPM, and it's like, dude, what are we? It's kind of like one of them reality checks. Like, dude, we're not supposed to be here. You know what I mean?
But we're here.
Yeah. And we're racing. And so then one day online, Leslie Gill comes along.
And Leslie is Stealth Oilfield Services.
Yeah.
Game changer.
You never know. And it's
he changed the game for you guys. He gave you all an opportunity. If you want to explain to the folks how that opportunity came across.
He posted a deal online that said, looking for a rookie driver. And boy, I mean, I had one. Didn't say anything about, hey, this is what we've gone through. This is what, we're just a rookie driver out here. And Leslie messages us, thank you. He messages us, thank you. We're going to look at it and review it. Well, in that time, I entered a raffle out of Dallas, and I'm sitting there in the shop and we're working, and I get a message, all these people, hey man, congratulations. Well, I'm like, dude, what did I just won something. Well, I won a race ready car from the Hansons. Well, once I started sharing, we got to talking, me and the dad, and man, this is badass. This is a turning point for us. Right. We had another car and then they shared the story that they were going through. They had lost their daughter, Heather, in a tragic auto accident. And so we started sharing stories with each other and kind of leaning on each other. And they got to talk about what they had gone through, and we got to talk about what we were going through. And to this day, we still keep in touch. We ended up not racing the car very much because we didn't want to tear it up. And then we ended up selling it and using those funds for other things. And then in the meantime, I get a message from Leslie Gill that says, hey man, we're going to come on board with like $1,000. Dude, we're excited.
It's a big deal. We got a sponsor.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. We got a sponsor.
Here we go. Credit card back.
Yeah, here we go. Quick calling grandma and aunts and everybody. We're off rolling here, man. We got $1,000. Well, then he messaged back, says, hey, my wife overrode my decision. I'm going to send you $2,000. Now we're going on tour.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, now we're on tour.
So did you already order the toter home?
No, not the toter. We're working on that yet. But we're going on tour now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So put the cola away. We're getting Coca-Cola now. And so we go and we meet Leslie. he sends us, we run into him at one of the races and we visit and stuff. And then one day, out of the blue, we get a message from him that says, hey, have you ever driven a modified? Cam's like, hey, I hot lapped one, but I've never driven one. He said, well, are you ready? And Cam said, no, I'm not ready, but in time I will be.
Yeah.
He says, good, because Sunday I'm showing up with the modified.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I'm reading this coming home from work. When I get home, Cam meets me at the truck. We're both teary-eyed, emotional, like, is this for real? Is this happening? Right. You know?
It's a whole lot to take in.
Yeah, man, this is, you know, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, because it's going to end one of two ways. Either the dude's going to show up at the car or the kid's going to be heartbroken when it doesn't go through.
Yeah, and so I'm like, man, this is awesome. Sure enough, Leslie and his wife, Stacy, show up at our house, back up to our driveway. We didn't have a place to put the car. Unloads it in our driveway, fuel, I mean, you name it. The full IMCA modified operation is there. So me and Leslie, we get in the truck, we ride around, and I said, hey, man, that's my baby. If I'm going to get a bill for this, like...
He's either going to college or he's going to race that car.
Yeah. We're doing what we can afford right now. So he's like, hey, man, I, too, have gone through something.
Yeah.
And Leslie let us know that he, too, had lost a loved one. And that's where our bond started, and that's where it is today.
It's a small world.
Small world. Somebody way higher than us put all of us in each other's
The three of y'all,
path.
the Hansons,
Yes,
Starrys,
put us all together.
Leslie's.
Put us all together.
Gills.
And put us all together to share the story, be able to talk about it and not feel, you know, from somebody like myself, when something like that happens, you have no time to mourn because you got to make sure everybody else is okay. And so whenever you can sit there and you talk to somebody and they just listen, you know, they don't try to, it's going to be all right, because how do you know? But they sit there and they listen, and you're sounding board going back and forth. And to this day, me and Leslie, we talk a couple times a week, never about racing. The racing's second.
Yeah.
You know, we check in, see how the family's doing. There's a bond there. You know, we ventured off into the stock car world. Cam's birthday 2 years ago, we're at the Jordan Page Memorial with the modified. Leslie says, hey, man, you want to drive this for your birthday? Like, sure. He goes out and wins.
Happy birthday. And
happy birthday, to him. Man. Yeah, and they sing to him, dude. And then again, if you go look at the picture, you know, it's him on the roof with his hands in the air, like, hey, man, that's
just like it was.
Just like it was. And so, you know, that's the story that a lot of people don't see. They see what you want them to see on social media. Yeah. Us going out and traveling and racing, and, you know, uneducated people showing up at the pawn shop saying we're getting rich. You're not getting rich selling $5. Nobody uses a tool with a cord anyways.
I once sold an AM/FM CD player for $14.
I witnessed that.
It did happen.
Yeah. So it's more just one of them things, man, where you don't know what other people are going through, and
honestly, it sounds like the racing was more of a facet for the healing than anything else.
Yeah, I'll be the first one to say, and I've said it a ton, that racing saved our lives. Racing saved our life. It gave us something that we go do as a family. Yeah. The highs and lows of it is part of it. But man, you know, seeing him win in Arizona this past January, we were out there for 2 weeks. You know, that's exciting, you know, for a dad.
Yeah. So. No, even Pistol, you know, racing the go-karts and stuff. I don't say just go-karts because it's a full operation.
Right.
Seeing them do well is great. Seeing them not do so well kind of crushes you sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether it's by their own doing or somebody else's. But I understand the aspect of you want your kids to do the best as they can, and you want to provide them with the best that they can. And obviously, Leslie gave you guys the opportunity to do that. If it hadn't been for that happening in the scenario, Cameron probably wouldn't be where he's at today.
Right. And that's one thing too, is, you know, and also we have a thing that you have to pass, like no pass, no play, you know. And also on the sponsorship side too, I'm an emotional person. I can go 0 to 100 real fast, and that's not always a good thing. But when you're representing someone else at the track, the last thing I ever want to do is embarrass the sponsors.
Right.
And I don't want to embarrass Cam or my family. So that's helped a whole lot, reel in some of the emotions,
So who's calmer, you or Cameron?
Cam, 100%.
Who's calmer, you or Kenzie?
We're same. We're 0 to 100 quick.
And Zyler, where does he fit into that?
Oh, Zyler's emotional wreck. Zyler's emotional wreck. But now Zyler, he's emotional too. Zyler's been a big support. Zyler races also.
Yeah.
And little brother comes in racing. You don't juggling it all as a parent, because you don't want to just. Social media can be awesome. Social media can be terrible, but whenever everybody has it and you see like, hey, congratulations here, and then you don't want any of your other kids to feel left out or think what they're doing is not,
as important.
as is important, So
And then you went and scored all those basketball goals.
yeah, and then I upstage everybody. You know what I mean? And I don't know.
Daddy's home.
Yeah, Dad's home. Dad just had to flex a little bit. And around my house is like, Cam won a tennis match. We were going to have a break-in Thunder Road podcast story live from Ben
We were
Keddy.
ready. We had
Live
cameras
from
and
Ben
everything.
Keddy, where, the van was fired up. Y'all were going to go out there for a live interview. But around my house is he'll walk by and say, hey, man, you any good at tennis? And I'm not going to say no. And then he'll walk by and say, hey, you want to go? I bet you're not as good as me. So then we end up where we at, Ben Keddy playing tennis against each other. It's a competitive deal. But back to the other is, Kenzie, doing her cheerleading and her basketball and volleyball, we make sure that we all go and support that. Zyler running his car, we make an effort to go and support him. So it's one of them things, man, where
It's a family affair.
it's a family affair. That's it.
I think the competition between you and Cam is a friendly competition, but it that's y'all's relationship
Yeah.
makes the dynamic work.
Yeah, it is. We leveled each other off real well. I'm the 0 to 100, and he's just dude on cruise control. The poor pitcher people. Whenever he won at Cotton Bowl last week, and then when he had won in Arizona, they all have the camera like waiting for this big moment to jump out. Well, he gets out and just goes like that, and they're like,
Nonchalant.
you know what I mean? Like,
Do it again.
yeah, hey, can we do a retake? But that's just him. It's not that he's trying to upstage anybody or do anything. That's just I say he doesn't like the spotlight.
He's a wheelman.
Yeah,
He's gonna have to learn to like the spotlight
yeah,
because it's gonna be there.
yeah. And I don't know what a lot of people ask us, hey man, what's life after high school? We have probably about 6 weeks left before he graduates. When this comes out, we'll probably have about 4 weeks before he graduates. And man, main thing I told him was, you have no wife, no kids, no bills. Some of them big races that we talk about and we would like to go to, but we couldn't. We're going to go hit those.
This is the time.
This is the time. And I truly believe this is the time, and that if you're going to do something like that, now's the time to do it. But at the same token, you've earned it. So
No, this is his opportunity. Obviously, as he gets a little older, there's always the next new guy coming up. Once life happens,
yeah,
a job, family, it hinders those things. Doesn't mean he's any less of a driver. It just means doesn't always have the opportunity to do those things that he could have done. So for sure, take advantage of those and get out there and get after them.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things that we talk about too, is being a positive role model for the guys that are coming up. Because my feeling is that you got from your 14 years old, or till about you're about 20, and then after that the cuteness wears away, kind of, and then you have the next wave. You have Whitaker's son, that's a hell of a wheelman. You have Whitmire, you have the Titzmans. There's a whole laundry list. The Egberts from Central Texas up there. They're there. throw the age out of the window. I mean, them dudes can will on it. So, and that's a positive, trying to be a positive role model for that. And there's some like Tanner and ones that have called Cam and said, hey man, thanks for being a positive role model for his son and different ones. So
no, those are good feelings to have. We got a message like that about Pistol, and she was just quite simply picking up trash that other folks had thrown out.
Right.
And I was very proud of her, and some other folks noticed, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, I don't realize as much, but other folks are always watching. And maybe it is a spotlight deal or maybe it isn't. I don't know. But it kind of floored me a little bit to know that, man, I didn't realize that people were paying that much attention. But why wouldn't they? Right. They want to know what we're doing on the cars, or want to know what we're doing on tires, or want to know what we're doing on everything. Why wouldn't they be watching the little things and also watching the kids? Right. So
there's a lot of eyes on you these days.
Oh,
and especially with social media and different stuff. Everybody's wanting to see somebody fail.
Correct.
Unfortunately,
I feel that way wholeheartedly. I think social media is a double-edged sword. I think some people want to see you do well, but I think most people want to see you fail. That way, when you do fail, they can say, "Ha, I told you so," or "Ha, I knew that was going to happen." But it goes back to what you said. They don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
Even in our business or businesses, there's people that have it out for us. It's what it is. I mean, I've been doing things on my own for a long time. Have I always made the right decisions? Hell no.
Yeah.
Have I paid stupid tax? I've paid plenty of stupid tax. But I am who I am. You just can't let the haters hate.
Yeah. And one of the things, dude, like for myself is, hey, man, I give you the shirt off my back. And I think a lot of, I say bad rap because I don't feel like I have a bad rap. I'm maybe not approachable. My old lady says I'm not approachable, but
I think there's a couple of dynamics in that, and it's probably the Starry name. And you know that as well as I do.
Yeah.
I don't think you're a bad guy. I've heard the same rumors and the same stories that everybody else has heard.
Yeah. But I think going back to some of the run-ins that I may have had early on was it wasn't necessarily what happened at the track, is what happened during that week leading up to when I got to the track.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes life, and that's one of the things when I did meet with the Very Owls is that I told them that, and I apologize. I'm a big enough man. If I, act an ass, hey man, I'll be the first one to say, but also I'll stand my ground if I need to also, and a lot of that, man, is the everyday life of what's led up to that Saturday night. I refuse to go race go-karts now.
You did not show up at all for the February deal.
No, sir, I did not. And I'm not.
I think I all but offered a go-kart.
Yes, you did. And the time that Cameron did go, I made sure that he wore flip-flops and shorts with no fire suit, no helmet, no nothing.
I have spares in my trailer. That's probably why you kept them away.
Yeah, and it just... I'm not wired for that, and hopefully, next February we'll give it a run again, but we just kind of needed to take a little break.
I'll remind you of that. We'll re-air this next January.
Yeah, it'll be a soundbite.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Come on out to go-kart. We're going to give it another try. Yeah. I'll race a go-kart if it's 3 like green, white checker.
What?
I'll race.
That's when all the wrecks happen.
No,
the wrecks happen at the start.
I'm
at the middle,
in
and
shape enough for green white checker.
After 20 points, he just scored the basketball game.
Well, maybe I'll work my way up to 20 laps. But right now, I'm green white checker.
It's a start.
It's a
start. Yeah. That's awesome. Where does it go from here? You just discussed Cameron graduating. What does he want to do? I mean,
man, he got accepted to A&M Kingsville. Right now, we're in the heart of the baseball season, doing real well with that. He wants to do something in real estate. He keeps going back to that. I've got him in contact with a few realtors that I know that can kind of lead him in the right direction.
Give him some guidance.
Yeah, give him some guidance. He needs, he'd like to race, but man, we never thought we'd be here. So to put a limit on what's next, man, I think we'd be doing ourselves a disservice because, for one, when we started out, we never thought we'd have factory stock and wouldn't be racing with those guys and guys that we idolize. And then we didn't think we'd be in a modified and stock car, and here we are. So I think putting a limit on it is this. Let's just see where we go, man.
Leslie and Stealth still on board?
Yeah, Leslie and Stealth, they're on board. I threaten about every other week to send Cam to go live with Leslie. So,
well, I mean, we can get a late model. So if you send them up there, then you just get a late model deal figured out, get them already fitted for it. So when it comes back here, it's ready to go.
Yeah. Hey, I like that idea.
I'm just saying, those are some opportunities.
Yeah, suggestions. Suggestions. I said, I think Joe Armadillo had a bus yesterday at the races. And
I was told that was George Strait's old bus. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know, but I sent Leslie a picture of it and said, dude, if this thing was red, black, and white, Stealth all the way.
All right. So what does the future hold for the Starries? You got property out there. You got the old pawn shop. You got a little resurrection going on out there. What are we doing?
Yeah, we had a sale and it went pretty well. We have another one scheduled for May, the first weekend of May.
Now, when you say a sale, because there's a lot of folks that are on around, you need to explain to the folks what this sale is and what it consists of.
Okay.
We need inventory, like every item.
No, we're not going to do that. The sale is, we have a bunch of stuff inside the pawn shop, tools.
Hold on. I know the pawn shop, and you know the pawn shop, but other folks don't know what the pawn shop actually was or is.
All right. My
because
grandfather,
it has a tale all of its own.
Yeah. My grandfather started out, it used to be a cattle farm. It was a 100-acre cattle farm. As the cattle prices and things change, so did his business. So he opened up a flea market. Well, in the flea market, had a few vendors.
Like an indoor flea market?
No, an outdoor one. The pawn shop originally started off with, it was just an open air building. So over the course of time, Robstown needed, Robstown people coming out there was no pawn shop around. The easy pawns, the different things like that.
They just need a little help.
They need a little help. My grandfather was we call him the underground mayor. You had the regular mayor of Robstown, then you had the underground, and that was my grandfather.
Which leads to running for office down the line.
Yeah, because my grandfather's name was Ernest Starry. Mine is James Ernest. So when it was brought to hey, would you like to run? Leave James real small and put Ernest Starry.
Did you find some old political signs in the pawn shop?
Not yet.
All right, they're there.
Not yet. But I do know top hat designs can.
We can fix you up.
All right, there we go.
Nice plug.
Nice plug. Yeah, had to get campaigning here.
Shaking hands and kissing babies.
That's it. So then he took all the barns out there, and you've been able to walk through and see it. He closed them all in. So versus like Easy Pawn or whatever, Easy Pawn, for instance, they'll have someone come every 90 days and buy all the drills or all the skill saws. Well, when you're an independent pawn shop, you don't have nobody. So all that inventory that wasn't selling gets stuffed in these barns. Well, that was back in the 80s. And then he passed away 6 years ago. So there was a whole lot of inventory.
So you basically opened the vault.
Yes, opened the vault. And man, it goes from anything, if you think of it, it's there.
Tell us some of the craziest things that you might have found in these little nuggets of gold that you have out there.
Well, let me back up and tell you this. I got a phone call from Robstown, from the Chamber of Commerce, and wanted to know that American Pickers was going to be in town, if I would like for American Pickers to come out. And I told him, no, I'll pass, but thank you. Well, then my buddies at the PD called me and said, hey, Starry, man, this would be badass. Why don't you have them come out? And I said, well, we're going to go from American Pickers to the First 48, or this show going to turn into Cops, because I have no idea what we're going to find. So some of the things, I found an autographed Michael Jordan basketball card. I found 4 suitcases of brand new porn.
Undistributed.
Just it's there. I found a chupacabra, I found a few radios that I'm going to sell at your sale next year.
$14 a piece.
Yeah, hopefully. That's my reserve for them.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. But the thing about the pawn shop, and you've been there, is when you live there, you can't escape it. So when you show up and you see that I have 3,000 screwdrivers, you're like, ha, 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 and then you leave. Well, I have to walk through that shit.
You still have 3,000
I
screwdrivers.
still have 3,000 screwdrivers. Like, what am I going to do with this? So I hired an estate lady to come in. They did an awesome job. We started off, the first day was full price. Second day was 50%. And third day was 75%. Everybody got a tote bag. Fill up your tote bag, take it out to the front, and go. Man, it did real well. Now, if you walk in the pawn shop, it looks organized.
Awesome.
So we're going to do it one more time, and then after that, I'm hoping to maybe turn that into a race car shop or something. I can't peddle $10 TVs from the locals, go broke. I can borrow money from Thunder Road.
Maybe.
But
you got any stereos?
Yeah, I got plenty of stereos. But
you had a heckler.
I don't, they show up and said family died, you're getting rich. And I'm like, well, it was my family and I'm not getting rich. I'm just trying to move forward.
So you're just trying to get a free screwdriver.
Yeah. Then they said that they were going to come back and burn my place down. Going to send their posse. I screenshotted their license plate, and in good faith, I called the Robstown PD. They came out. By the time they got out, I already ran the plate and knew who it was. And
you had it handled.
I had it handled, and they said, hey, man, let us handle it. And you don't handle it, I was already wearing my fire helmet that I found inside the pawn shop because, you're not going to burn it down. You've had 6 years. Anyhow, that's just, we had the sale. We're going to do it again. I think, we joke around a lot on Facebook, and I think a lot of the joking around is more healing than anything.
Yeah.
We don't have no damn raffles, but I
Not yet.
But I mean, we found some rattlesnake boots. I won that raffle.
You look pretty styling.
Thank you. Yeah, they hurt my feet. I was going to wear them today, but
you should have looked pretty dapper.
Yeah, they were like,
those raffles are for pretty funny. I think you gave Zyler, I don't know, looked like 100 dumbbells.
Yeah, I gave him some dumbbells because he's lifting weights. I found another pair of boots, and I gave David Jenkins them because he's a rattlesnake boot wearer.
He's a rattlesnake boot wearer for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Him and me both show up with rattlesnake boots. Watch out,
something's going down.
Something going down. EJ Gilpin, he won a bowling belt buckle.
Well, he is a good bowler.
Yeah,
I've witnessed the old Ernie bowling there. Yeah. So
Big Iron. Let me tell you something. He has been big time as a crew chief helping us with racing. And he's the middleman. He's put his racing to the side. To help us out. Yeah, and man, we couldn't do it without him. He's a good middleman. Me and Cam get wound up. Ernie slides right on in. He's the soundboard for both of us. Handles it. Then we go off and do our thing. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's, we're going to continue the raffles, fire them up here in a little bit. So,
you could say it's almost like 2.5 men.
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah. I want to get some stilts for them.
There's probably some in the pawn shop. Just go, they're going to have a sale, a big sale. You probably get big sale. Just wait till Sunday. It's 75% off.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. May 1st, 2nd, 3rd.
Put it out.
Buy one bag, get 2 free.
No hecklers, please.
Yeah, no hecklers, man. Come on. Just let us be.
Just let you be. Let you live in peace.
Yeah. But what's crazy is people don't understand and see is like they'll come and stand at our gate and take a picture. Like a total stranger. And it's like, dude, what are you taking a picture in front of the pawn shop gate for? But then you go into town, man, everybody, man, we loved your grandpa. When you going to open it back up? So when we did open it back up for that sale, man, we had 200 people standing out there.
No, I saw pictures on the internet. There was a line of people out there, and we went out there and supported. And I was blown away by what I saw. Honestly, what I saw inside the pawn shop as well as the line of people outside. But I just think it's a love-hate relationship with the Starrys in that area. And it goes back to what we talked about earlier. Some folks want you to succeed, and some folks don't. Yeah. And those that don't are always going to find something to bitch about, nag about, complain about. But those that want you guys to succeed and move on, those are the ones that are going to be there to support you, like Ernie, and like the rest of your crew out there. So you just got to take the good with the bad and understand there's always going to be those haters out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we are.
That's something that I had to learn the hard way too. You talked about the discussion with Stephen Whitaker when he said everybody loves you till you're fast. He had a very similar discussion with me in my office a few years back with our Pure Stock deal. I was everybody's friend, and then we won a bunch of races, and then we weren't, and I didn't understand that. It bothered me a lot, and he told me just the way it is.
Yeah.
So I sold the car, and everybody likes me again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is on social media and stuff, and even in the real world, some people play the villain real well.
Yeah.
And some people don't even have no interest in being the villain. But at the end of the day, everybody still wants to be loved on.
Everybody has skeletons in their closet also.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of them things. And I think Kenny Wallace said it whenever you go on Sundays and you see all the race reports and everybody puts, it's a big deal. Everybody puts a race report of how they did and how they, and I just think that, man, sometimes you just want to come to be able to go to the table with everybody and just, and not be, you're not trying to show off or be bigger, Some of them reports I read and I'm like, damn, where'd you come up with that shit?
John Perry told me a little story, and he said he asked the guy, why did you even post that?
Yeah. Yeah, I was running a solid 18th and my freaking cat jumped out of the trunk. Like, what?
Yeah,
why are you posting that shit? But no, I think everybody just puts stuff out there, and they, like I said, no matter if you run 20th or you run first, I think everybody wants to be at the table with, and there's heroes out there and guys that probably don't even realize that they are a hero to a lot of people. And it's just, everybody's watching.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to touch base on?
No, man.
You hit all the points?
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling me on the reserve list to swing on in here. And
I had a good time.
Yeah.
You've been here almost all day. You got to see kind of the whole scenario. Is it what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah. No, I like it, man. It's awesome. I tried getting into the sprint car over there, but
I can get you in that sprint car pretty easily for about 20 grand. I can get you into that deal. What was Leslie's number?
No, we're not doing that. We're going back to basketball. I just was trying.
It's red and black. I mean, It's really close.
Cut that out, would you please? I don't need camera hearing that.
Awesome.
But no, thanks for having me, and man, thanks everybody for all their support, and we'll see you at a track somewhere.
We before we get away, obviously, racing is tough. Racing is hard. And I know that Cameron's got some social media stuff out there, some different ways. And I know you guys are out on the sponsorship hunt. So how do folks get a hold of you and or Cameron to get on board with that stealth machine?
Yeah, you can call me 361-813-1495. Save it in your phone.
No hecklers, please.
No, yeah, keep the heckling down. Message us on Facebook, Cameron Starry Racing. Cameron Starry has one too. And man, we'll make you proud.
Cool deal, man. We appreciate you coming on the Thunder Road podcast, giving us your time, giving us your stories and some of the Starry adventures. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Later.
As a checkered flag flies on this episode of the Thunder Road podcast, I would like to thank James Starry for coming on the show. I would also like to take this time to thank our sponsors, Proline Fabrication, 112 Bodies, S&S Monuments, Top Hat Signs and Designs, and of course, Gray's Recycling.